everybody somewhere listening to me today, and I hope that we'll have a very insightful conversation with Edmund Gbarwee, who would then turn to provide some information, the impacts they are making as a group to help minimize epilepsy in Liberia. We want to know, Fred, what is epilepsy? I know people talk about, I know they have the little man who sometimes they can call it spare. I think so, yeah, it's a mega spare. And sometimes you get so discriminated and people don't even want to come around you. If you are young, your colleagues don't want to come around you. And sometimes even in the school, people are afraid to come around you. So, but I know there's still hope at the end of the tunnel, and that's why Edmund Walakewon has dedicated, so many of his life in public health to making sure that they can change the narrative so that people who have epilepsy can once again smile and say yes. In spite of all the challenges, the difficulties, yes, there is still light and there's life that we can all help to make ourselves better. So that conversation will start in a jiffy, and my guest is already here, Edmund Gbarwee. That conversation will run from now straight up to 5 o'clock. At 5 today, the representative of District Number 3, Nima Menekege, who is the current chair on Foreign Affairs and Public, and that's Foreign Relations, will be here, and that will take us up to 6 o'clock. So that's the composition of the show. Invite a friend to listen because, hey, the Bumble Show is Liberia's biggest, and this is the time you have to listen. Let me officially welcome my man Emmanuel and say the future is bright. Yeah, just use one. Yeah, use that one. I know Emmanuel, the future is bright, and welcome to the Bumble Show, and let's have some real insightful conversation.
Well, I like to say Happy New Year, first of all, to all those who have tuned into us by way of the television and those who are also listening to us by ELBC and on how many frequencies across Liberia. My name is Edmund C. Gbarwee, but I'm always being called Ambassador Edmund Walakewon Gbarwee because the Walakewon is my birth name. I was born in Lamco Yikipa at the hospital. Today is Metal Liberia Hospital, and I went to school in Zikepa, where today we've been listening on ELBC there as we speak. And I'm a public health practitioner. I'm also a social worker. I currently work for the Africa Development Management Regional Media Coordinator. And yes, it is me. And this is Edmund. And
Great.
The future is bright.
Yeah, of course, certainly the future is bright. Thank you for, and let's get into it. Thanks for that. You are a public health practitioner. And one key area we want to focus our discussion is epilepsy here in Liberia. On the overall, what's your thinking, or how do you see it in Liberia? Is it prevalent? Is it on the rise, or is still something under the carpet?
Well, it is prevalent, it is neglected, it is scary, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it. And many people at times they feel because of the misconception surrounding it and the myth and all of that, they feel it's witch. So people who have it have themselves most often, and so it's on the rise. But as we speak, at least we've been shining light on it. The stigma is a little bit reducing, and people are now getting to understand what the sickness, because spare, that epilepsy is what we call spare in our Liberian PG English. And so yes, indeed, it is prevalent, especially in Yarwin, Mehnsonnoh.
I know you have this group called Help Minimize Epilepsy here in Liberia. You want to tell us some of the work you do and how did this vision come about?
Well, Emmanuel, let me say thank you. This is important and it's emotional whenever I talk about it because growing up as a child, I saw many of our friends are hailed from Yarwin, Mehnsonnoh Statutory District. Is a component of Nimba County Editorial District number 9. And there is a community called Blinlow in Yarwin, Mehnsonnoh Statutory District. So going for church conferences with my parents, we always used to see most of our friends whenever we go to Sunday school, they would drop and start to jerk. And it became a concern. And whenever they drop and jerk, all of us sometimes would run away. And then at that moment, the Sunday school going to end. And those people who drop, they will not come shame. So when I graduated as a public health practitioner from the Adventist University of West Africa, I then decided to do a need assessment. And we went on to see in our district, beginning with our district, that is very challenged in everything. It's one of the remotest places in Liberia, with no disrespect to our wonderful people who hail from Yarwin, Mehnsonnoh. So we went out and decided to see where exactly can we get involved with our community initiative, all on our own, with no sponsorship from anybody. So we did our community entry, and one thing we noticed was the issue of epilepsy was on the rise, and there were no medication at any of those health facilities. That was in August 2020, and then we said, how can we approach this as a team? What name can we give to it? And we started to work with the health team of that district, and we work with our fellow colleagues. Thanks to pharmacist Joseph Sequoy, who works with the Ministry of Health, we passed that by him that, look, we have seen this situation to be on the rise in our community, and there are no medication. How do we go about it? He and Anjita, they decided to work with us, and we found ourselves in a small group, and a group of 6. The chairperson then we said was Antoinette White Johnson, and she was the chairperson. Then we have Famata Karen and the rest of the team. So since it was approaching July, and it was my birthday is actually in July, peace be to his arches, Johnson Gbarwee, who then was the representative of District Number 9. We reported that situation to him and said, oh, yeah, I was aware, but I did not know that at least 260 plus people are challenged with epilepsy in our district, age range from 13 all the way to 65. And we said, okay, what we can do, let's open up a social media campaign. Let's open up a social media campaign that we can call a Help Minimize Epilepsy. And then let's solicit funds from people who would be ready to support this kind of initiative. So since Johnson Gbarwee's late birthday was on July 25th and me on July 23rd, we decided now to use our birthday to get involved with this.
And that's how the whole vision about Help Minimize Epilepsy in Liberia came about.
Absolutely.
And since then, what sort of impacts have you made as an organization trying to restore hope to victims or people going through epilepsy here in Liberia?
So it was very interesting. And when we got into the community, we took one clinic first, because remember, there are limitations on everything we do as public health practitioners. We are not licensed to give medication to people. So first of all, the thing those people need the most is care, medication, and awareness for people who are in the community and themselves. So great impact. A lot has been happening. We started first in August 2020 at Bowie Clinic with at least 58 persons at the time. And our focus was how to, first of all, remove the stigmatization.
That is,
so we brought up the stakeholders together, and it was the first time for those who are challenged with epilepsy, with SPARE, to interact with their commissioners, with their district health officers, and the education, officer, and all of that, for them to come together at one point to even shake hands with those people. So why were we doing that? Was to first of all remove the stigmatization, because if you are sick and you are isolated from your family, especially something that causes seizure that make you to go off for some point in time, and they say, look, Emmanuel, we're going to put Edmund to that other place. He's not going to eat with us. He's not going to drink with us because he's a witch. That alone is a death sentence. So the impact we've created from 2020 to 2024 was to make sure to create awareness in Yarwin Mehnsonnoh Health District. Now we cover Koung Clinic, we cover Zanzei Clinic.
When you say cover, did you provide medication for people with epilepsy in that area?
Absolutely. And those medications are something we raise funds, and then we pass that money through the pharmacist, a licensed pharmacist, Joseph C. Kollie, who we want to always acknowledge in this process, because if you don't know, not every medication is the same. You will see like, oh, this is chloroquine, but that chloroquine may be another type. It might have some problem you may not know. So
is it difficult to get?
It is difficult to get. It is difficult to get, Emmanuel. And one thing that is sad is the medicine is expensive. You don't just get it on counter. Of course, it's not a counter drug because that's, those are medication that needs to be prescribed by a medical doctor or a physician. And so it's hard to get. And sometimes we can even have the money on us. It will take us weeks to look for this medication. And sometimes with the help of Joseph C. Kollie, he will get on the motorbike with us and say, let's go to this other pharmacy. Let's go to this place. Let's go to that place before we can get it. Today, we are excited to see the impact we've made. Some of those people who were challenged themselves came together on World Mental Health Day last year, October 10 in Kpan. It was also the first of its kind, thanks to the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, the Superintendent of NIMBA, Madam Koung, the County Health Officer, Dr. Rabuli Penodolo. All of them, including our local leaders, school authorities, students, they came together. And you will not imagine that people came as far, those who are challenged with epilepsy, came as far from Bom County, Grand Bassa County, Riverside, and converged to Kpan. And they were able to get medication for at least 3 months. And some of them stood up, Emmanuel, and said they took them to herbalists, but they got to know that they were still having seizure. But when they heard about the Help Minimize Epilepsy campaigners are doing, they decided to come and take the medication. And since they started taking the medication, they haven't had seizure. One of them is Johnny Prince Dan. I can boast what they call his name because he's excited. He came out and said, look, I want to go to school. I was in 9th grade and I dropped. Today, Emmanuel has returned to school, to Zike Memorial High School. He's in the 9th grade. He's going to be writing his wire this year. And many others are cooking for that family.
Great. I want to know as to whether if you have an epilepsy or spare, you have to live on drugs, or once you take the medication, then you are free from it. Is it how it works?
So first of all, epilepsy is a neurological disorder that is characterized by reoccurring situation within our brain. Our brain got tiny wires.
So on overall, you can be totally free from it.
Well, so it is. What I can say for real is you can get in wellness, because the overall is if you don't fall, all right. If you don't have seizure, if you're not dropping, and not all seizures can make people to fall. Some people can just sit down and like they just sit down, Adama, and they're not near you now. They're not close. Those are kind of like seizure. So, but when you're taking your medication regularly, every day you need to take one regularly. Of course, yes. Like Johnny, Prince Dan, he told us clearly that I'm not going to school. So as long as you're taking your medication and don't fall, there are people among us who are epilepsy, you may not know them. But because they take that medication on time, so they're doing that thing.
So why the stigmatization? Why the discrimination, especially for people who have spare? Let me put it that way.
So first of all, stigma refers to the negative attitudes, behaviors, and discrimination faced by individuals with epilepsy. Right now in this seat, as you know me, as the future is bright, Edmund, when I fall right here, you and Lawrence, you will not be here right now. This station may shut down some kind of way. And at that point, Emmanuel, you have some feelings. But what made Edmund, who was just sitting here to fall? So what is sad is we all need to understand this issue of epilepsy. And guess you me, not all seizure, not all falling down are epilepsy. Some things can happen in people.
Does it not have any traditional connection? Because oftentimes, like you were saying, once people have epilepsy, they become, in a different position. You can't eat with your colleagues, you can't play, and when you go, hey, that man, I'm gonna go around that man gets spared. That alone, what sort of trauma does it create for somebody who already has, the condition?
That is why we're here today, and we say thank you for also helping to create this huge awareness. The myth surrounding this traditionally is also killing a lot of people. And you can, first of all, take epilepsy or spare from anybody, either by their spit, either by, eating together, by touching, by having sex or sexual intercourse. No, you don't take sex or by kissing, not at all. Okay, so it is wrong, and that is why it is affecting most of those who are challenged with epilepsy today. Because many people feel that, because this person has epilepsy, no, it's not, give it to me, no. But this is
so what's the mode of transmission?
So
is it transmissible?
No, it's not transmissible, and it is not transferable, and it's a non-contagious situation. Like now, if for instance nobody would say, look, I can't have epilepsy in my whole life, God forbid somebody can have accident and then your head knocks something very hard because it's a brain situation, you might likely come down with epilepsy, or you playing and fall from a tree and all of that. There are possibilities that you can also have epilepsy as well. So nobody can already say no and hit somebody for epilepsy. No, there's a lady who also came that had twin for Kayin. She's one of our friends, who is on the medication. And when she came, she said she narrated a story to the superintendent, everybody that were there on October 10, that she was not having epilepsy at first, but she climbed in a palm tree and she fell from this palm tree, and that's how they wish get on her. So you see the whole myth. She climbed in the palm tree and fell from the palm tree, and that's how people wish her. So that's the belief she had over time. So now we're working with her and say, no, it's not witch. First of all, remove the witch issue for this thing and start to take your medication. So you cannot take epilepsy from anybody by eating, and those are the major things that can cause stigmatization. Then you when you reject people in any situation, of course, yes, you place them in a wrong spot. And some of those people, you place them in a little tank. They have to cook and bathe. At the end of the day, when they put the fire and then they get into seizure, they roll into that fire and get burned. There is a gentleman in one of the communities who got burned until his hand cut off. He's living with his amputated hand that was being cut off because of epilepsy. So if his family and the community knew that, no, we have to bring him close, that when he's even having seizure, for us to move dangerous substances from around him, he wouldn't have had that situation. So it's a tough thing that our team doing. I want to give it out to them and all those who continue to raise these huge awarenesses that you're doing right now, that we need to collectively come together and shine more light on this, that this neglected situation is not is not something you can take from somebody. So when you see somebody fall with epilepsy or fall in the street, all you must do is to remove dangerous things from them. You cannot stop it. You cannot hold that person, or else maybe the muscle.
You can't strangle the person.
No, you can't strangle them. Just leave them, put them in the right position, for example, and then just move things that may bother them or hurt them or burn them. Just move it from around them. And after some while, when they come together, they will even be asking you, but what happened to me? It just happened recently in Gompa. Our other colleague, Joseph, Wadolo, who is one of our campaigners in Gompa, because he was not informed and kind of like trained by the Help Minimize Epilepsy campaign nurse, he decided to go in the street and he saw this girl, on the ground, and everybody surrounded the girl. And he stood by and watched for a long time. And after the girl woke up, he went to the girl and asked the girl, and the girl said, yes, I'm not well. And he took the girl on his motorbike to the girl's parents. And the whole people were saying, the man told the crazy girl, a bad thing will leave on the man. Oh, no, but it would not leave on the man. And at that point, she turned around and told Joseph, thank you, brother. You helped me today and you made me to be like a human being. They need us. So when we give those kind of care to them, of course, yes, they're going to be revived again, but we should not stigmatize them.
Are any common causes or risk factors associated with the issue of epilepsy?
Well, there needs to be more research, especially why is it prevalent in Yarwin, Mehnsonnoh, statutory district and other communities.
Are people born with it?
Well, because it requires a lot of research. Why am I saying so? The first thing that we are trying to shine light on and calling on everybody in the health sector and other stakeholders is to first of all know why is this thing prevalent in one community with over 200 plus people suffering from that. Could that be maybe because whenever people are giving birth, that's why the government of Liberia said there should be no traditional midwife giving birth to a lady in a town or in a hut or by themselves. You should all go to the health facility because maybe there are some complications. Maybe there are something is not right. So yes, and like I said, nobody is above it. You might have an accident, and then this happen. It might be, some other generic things. Something is not right about the issue of epilepsy. But what is clear is it is not transferable. It is not contagious. It is not something you can take from somebody. It's a brain situation. It is an electronic shock that happens in the brain for a moment, just some time. And the moment that ceases, you come back to normality, and then you are concerned, what happened to me?
Are people reuniting with their families as a result of your campaign in remote areas in Nima where you currently operate?
Oh yes.
Have they embraced them?
Oh yes.
Have they taken them in?
Oh yes. There are a few instances, and there is a girl. When we went first in 2020, this girl, Emmanuel, I was seeing you that picture earlier on. I held her, and she and I took picture, and she told me that, oh uncle, you touch me. A lot of people don't touch us; they call us witch, and we say you're not witch, and we carry clothes. Thanks to Doc Lawson and the Dynamic Sports team from the US, they give us some clothes and things, and we changed most of their things from them. Now, that girl started to take the medication, and that girl is going to Sunday school with her friends today. When you see that girl and see her in 2020, you were like, oh, this girl who was being, rejected by her parents. Another girl, her family said she's not going to cook in the house, but now, that girl is the one that can cook for her family, clean up the house. Another girl was in the church choir. And they said, since indeed you have epilepsy now, you will not have to come around us. So no, that girl right now is part of the choir and thinking those are things they saying by themselves about the medication that they take. But the lead of them is remove the stigmatization, provide the medication, and create more awareness for community dwellers like we're doing now.
Edmund, how can people with epilepsy manage their condition to lead a normal life?
Well, first of all, your health should be your own concern. If you and myself have malaria and typhoid right now, we can't go looking for help. The only thing is the medication should be available and should be accessible, and there should be facilities. They themselves, we've always told them that this campaign must take the sustainability phase. We must all start now to do some community awareness, some community campaigns, some activities together, maybe by planting cassava, by planting pepper, that you can have money to be able to buy your own medication. And at the same time, we are advocating like we're doing right now. You might there are a lot of different ways that people advocate. If, for instance, the way I say here now, that is Tatormue district, right? That is where this thing is prevalent as we speak. Don't get me wrong. Other districts, people are calling us now from all parts of Liberia. We did not know that this thing was prevalent everywhere like that. But where we started from, we will come and say, we're not doing well in your district. Johnson Bwego were not doing well. The people who can vote for them, and if no people sick, they don't care for them. But unlike doing that, we decide to work with all of them to address the situation. They are gravitating towards getting involved, that this thing is our own situation. And one of them said, I plenty my casao, I keep my money small. When then my medicine finish, I can go buy my own medicine, because when you see her now, you will never even believe that girl has epilepsy. So yes, there are a lot of things, but we need to first of all remove the stigma. Let people break the silence around it, that yes, I have accepted that it's not weight on me. It's epilepsy. It can be, I can get in wellness. It can be controlled, by me taking the medication. But if I don't take the medication and say you're coming to the sick bush, sometimes people they take to sick bush, they get abused by those herbalists. And it's a huge situation, trauma-related situation. That's why we who are public health practitioners are calling on all of us to pull ourselves together and see first and foremost that even you, Emmanuel, you be in a taxi and somebody has seizure, that you will not be afraid and say, oh, they think man, the way I go to going to the hospital, I think I come and get epilepsy. Now, no, you will not have it, because it will happen sometimes in buses, even in this workplace, even at university, even at the Capitol building where you work. There are people that will come down with it. But when they come down, you will have a clear understanding that, look, let's remove chairs and other things from around this man.
I mean, how can communities contribute to supporting individuals with epilepsy or spare?
So first of all, we want to again give it out to the communities that we are working in the health facilities, except that this thing is not contagious. That is the first thing any community should do. That it is not which I will not take it from this person or else. Most of the communities are places that people go on the farm and they cross rivers, and you will stand and see somebody have seizure and fall into the river. For you going to just rescue them, you would stand there and that person get drowned because you did not understand it. So yes, the community has a huge role to play, very huge. And that's why every campaign activity that we've taken, we go to the community, but we don't give the medicine to the patient. We then direct the patients to the health facilities, because those health people are the ones who are licensed medical practitioners under our laws to give medication. What we do is we monitor it. So this campaign is about the community, the stakeholders, and those patients, that they will come together and know that this thing, first of all, let's move the stigma around it. Let's move the myth, the misunderstanding, misconception around it, that people who are challenged with it, they are like us. I can also have it tomorrow through accident or through other situation.
I mean, thankfully you are a public health practitioner, and from the public health perspective, I just want to know the role of public health practitioners in addressing this, sad situation.
Well, so prevention, protection, and prolonging your lives, that's where public health belongs. But when it passes all those stages, it requires controlling. So at this point, it has passed the stage of preventing somebody from getting epilepsy, because first of all, you would tell a pregnant woman now that don't allow any traditional midwife to deliver you in that community. When you get into 7-8 months, go to the health facility. Always visit the clinic or the hospital for the midwives and all other people who are there responsible to tell you that this is the condition of this child. This is this, do this and do that. All right. First of all, so it has passed. As public health practitioners, our focus now is to create more awareness, like we're doing today, shine more light on it, that everybody beyond our borders who are listening to radio, ELBC, Voice of Yarwin, Kpan, and watching us on the page of Help Minimize Epilepsy, we get to understand that this thing is not contagious. This thing is not something I can take from somebody. So I must be able to be a help to somebody when they get in seizure. I must encourage them to go to the hospital instead of going to the herbalist, because it's not witch. All right. So it's a huge thing for we public health practitioners now, because you have to be in those communities. Sadly, there are no funding for it at the moment, which of course is calling on people to come and aid us. Because before,
how do you get funding? And that one of the questions I wanted to ask you. How do you do all this that you are embarking on?
It is a tough thing. I must be very honest to you. But when you are passionate in any community service, you got to put your chest to the fire and make sure that, yes, I'm doing this for the cause with a pure heart. So we can actually cut very hard. What do I mean? Waking up in the night, putting up campaign messages, sharing those links with even you, Emmanuel, and the rest of your friends who are on Facebook, who are on Messenger, and literally begging people for the life of other people. You do that sometimes, and you know, sometimes Facebook block you, and again you have to appeal, and they have to block you, you appeal, and making sure that that message reach out to people. And so we use the social media to raise our funds. And thankfully, through the social media, the vice president was able to see one of our campaign messages about the particular lady that I told you about, her fell from the tree. She got twin, and her boyfriend too, who bore those children by her, the guy who has epilepsy. So because of the shame, he ran away from the lady, and the lady now and the children, they are just there with no help. So when he saw that story on the social media, he reached out, and he was able to provide $950 worth of medication. That medication was being provided to the county health team of Nimba and the district health team, and it was being distributed in Zikepa. But Imala, here is the big challenge. Whenever you hear that the vice president is associated with something, we now be placed in a very tough situation. So if we come up now and put up a campaign, and the vice president picture was with us, and all of that, and he has given his support actually that he would do this. But you know, these are leaders. Too many competing priorities. He really want to do this. He really, because in that very room when he called us at his home, and we want to say thanks to him, because not many people will look at the situation of other people's health. And he broke the silence and said, my own daughter was challenged with epilepsy, and a lot of people said it was witch. They stigmatized me and my family. We suffered the consequences of my daughter being somebody who has epilepsy. Today, his daughter is now in the United States. She traveled here by herself back and forth without not having seizure anymore, because she's in wellness, because she's taking her medication on time. How about those people that are in Yarwin, Mehnsonnoh, Ganta, Bidoru, Grand G, there, people calling us from there. This Monrovia County, people calling us from there every time. So we want to say thanks to the vice president, huge. And there's something called relapse. When you take the medication and you jab the sickness, you take it good. When it comes by the force, it can come where it can pass by the first one. So that the stage now, we don't want the people to get in. The medication that was being provided by the vice president, and even Tatormue, who also provided $500 US worth of medication. All those medication, it was meant for 268 people who have life experience. But then when they hear about the vice president Tatormue donation and the superintendent of Nimba going to Zikepa, we got overwhelmed. People came from Grand Bassa, from Bomb County, and the medication could not now save those people that we went to save. So right now we have this challenge, and we again called it on the vice president on all health sector. The Ministry of Health, we met up with Dr. Ziak, Dr. Kosi Gwaiklo took us to him, and he was also concerned to know that indeed there were people who are challenged with this kind of condition at a particular location in that kind of number. And so that means that this campaign we on it requires funding. We don't even have motorbike in Mali. We have to rent motorbike. When you see her in the bush, this man who's pretty rare is a witness. Sometimes with 3-4 on one motorbike on narrow roads. But again, this is why we are passionate to do.
Great. Thank you, Edmund Gbarwee, and thanks for all you do and the entire help minimize epilepsy in Liberia for the great job. We've got 40 minutes up to 5 o'clock. We'll interact with the public briefly. I guess they have some things to talk about and ask you. Maybe they want to make comments or want to make contributions to this worthy venture. Call us on 0770 567-764 0770 567-764. You're listening to the Bombard Show on ELBC Radio 99.9 and other frequencies across Liberia. Let me go to the line and start taking calls. Hello, welcome.
Yeah. Oh, brother.
Yeah, you're live. Let's hear you. Make your inputs.
Yeah, this is Kollie from Pipeline Communities.
Great to hear you.
Yeah, I already admire the brothers in the studio with you there. All the information is concerning epilepsies. It's true because I have the brothers who suffer from it, but he is a late now. He passed on. He myself was in the room. The first time when this thing happened,
I mean, gotta be brief. You got me explaining the whole story.
Check it, me. So the spirit wasted on the bed and my head lay on the spade. Very, very cold and slimy. So I was really worried at that time to feel that I'm going to have epilepsy. But no, it never happened. And I continued helping him, stand by him until after 60 time, during my study time, went to World War mission, the polo ended. They were having mental home there. So they used to also give drugs to people. He continued taking the medicine. They brought him here. But when they carried him by loafer, he started taking the medication. He took him with reinforcement. At the end of the day, he also getting prison. So before he passed on. So whatsoever he's saying, I really admire what he's saying. It's true about epilepsy.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me talk to this person. Good evening. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is MC Fugu. I'm calling from Grand County.
Great to hear you from Grand Coup.
Yes, I want to give bravo to your studio here this afternoon. You see, I won't go to multiply to hide or to actually find the treatment of that particular sickness. Because that sickness, it is so disgraceful to me as a great enemy to young people. It can disgrace you or more people. When you stay alone, it will not take action, but it will let you go more people. That's the time it drop you down in your plain clothes. So it is very much sinful. And we always pray to God to join in prayer that God should open your eyes to find actually the treatment for it that will kill it from somebody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear brother from Grand Coup. Hello, welcome you live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, how are you, my dear brother?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Let's hear you.
My name is Regional Sally, and I call you from Robertsport specifically.
Great to hear you from Kidmount.
Thank you very much, Kpan. I want to first of all appreciate the brother in studio there. I want to appreciate him. And then I want to also ask him how can they extend to the various counties in Liberia, because those of us that are in Robertsport have full of experience with people who have epilepsy. And some of them are being neglected and they are just on their own, like you're saying. With all of those awareness is created on the radio, they also need to be created in our various community. I very appreciate him and appreciate the entire group. I pray that God will help them to forward the entire Liberia. How can they reach to the various countries? That's
Thank you. It's already noted. Hello, let's hear you. Make your inputs.
Yes, good.
Welcome.
My name is Melvin McKay. I'm calling from my Gibby County, District Number 1.
Great to hear you.
I appreciate the gentleman in studio. I thank him very much for that, for coming out there and educating people on what's going on with the epilepsy. Now, what I understand from the epileptic seizure, the worst part is called grand mal, GRANDMAL. And that situation would make a person, because it can become very violent. And one of the ways some of the ways you can deal with it is, one, you can lay the person on their side so that the saliva wouldn't accumulate and strangle the person. Secondly, if it becomes so violent, you can actually hold the person down between your legs on the side. The person's not going to go anywhere, and you cannot allow these people to go around fire or water by themselves. Even to go to the well and draw water from there, you have to be very careful about that. So that's just my input, and I wanted to ask him, is there a chance you guys going to be working around my Gibi someday? Maybe I can contribute here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know Edmund will call his number. A lot of people want to contribute to. But let's hear you. Welcome you live.
Yeah, I think Anna.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. But let's hear you. Make your input.
Yeah, I enjoy that guy, but very my son, it's been only two people been accusing a way of hurting him. So I really want to go in there. I get a number.
Yeah.
I will be able to get a number to be in contact with you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, hello?
Greetings, you live on the stage broadcaster. Let's hear you.
My name is John D. Augustine. I'm calling from Monrovia County.
Augustine, go ahead.
I want to say thank you to the studio guest. What you were just saying, it is true. It is good to take a medication, because if you start to misbehave with the medication, when the sickness bounces back, it can be more terrible than the first one. So I just want to appreciate him for sharing our idea on the social on the radio today, that we ourselves will get ideas to share with our friends. So I want to say thank you for that topic today. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mapchu. Let's hear you from Sino.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Let me say thank you to your caller there. And I want to advise him that sure you are helping a lot. Epilepsy is seen as something that when someone has an outcast. But I will advise you that while it's true that you're saving life, you shouldn't be more than 4 people on a motorbike. I will also want to advise you to give us a telephone number. Probably we can send $500 on that number that will be acceptable to you. If you are listening, we can send $200, $300 on the number. Just read that number 2-3 times.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, people. When I come Gbarwee of our local county, and I'm going for Tatormue City during the market day of this local city. Good afternoon.
You interpreter. Go ahead, my man.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I also want the name of the Yarwin I was needed for this particular sickness. And what I'm actually, asking him for is, this is not about Yarwin, so we know that they are from Yarwin, but we want this to be called across in that country. So for me, I'm really discussing Lima because I also asking to engage to our lawmaker. That's the meaning of the lawmaker decision must be even inside lawmaker across Lima, so that we know they all can get involved.
Thank you very much. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
let's hear you.
Good afternoon to Mr. Kollie. I'm Robert Blasina Jr., a true son of Sino, and I call from Greenville.
Okay, let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I so appreciate your studio guests. You have spoken excellently well. These are people who are patriotic, so when we have the opportunity to provide services for our people, I think it's welcoming for us, and we need to embrace it. But I listened to him, and he talked about so many areas, but he didn't mention about anything. And finally, here, we live here for a couple of years. We have noticed there are other people who have had epilepsy, like who are known for a very long time. And he has been really around. He's a very smart guy, but he's been battling epilepsy for the past 10 years. So whatever you put on very difficult. Even the physical look, it's not well. So like the program is welcoming, and we are in Sino. We are willing to accept the program in Sino. So I urge you, young men, when you are doing the program, please extend to the Southeast, specifically Sino County, so we all can work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear brother from Greenville, Sino. From Sino, where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Go ahead. Yeah, greetings.
Yeah, I'm calling from Banga City, Banga, the People's Skills. I'm
Great.
Lawrence from Banga.
Okay, Reverend, go ahead.
No.
Father Lawrence took off from Ghana.
Okay, Father. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the information. Even my niece-in-law, someone have that, and sometimes when they have people are people, they just see the condition. So, with the information, we inform our people when something happens, we keep them away from water, from fire, from harmful things. So, thank you. We take that apart, and I really get the information from the radio. Thank you, God bless you. God bless the studio guests.
Okay, thank you. Let me talk to you. Welcome, we live.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, anyway, Papa Niwe, I'm calling from Grand Nigeria. My sister then, say you were born at the age, I think about 1 year and a half. The boy can sit down, he can check in the night, in the day, he can check. Sometimes he will cry day and night. We depend on the hospital, no solution. People telling us that at the end, it may end up with epilepsy. So we should have this program here us, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Emma, we move on. Oh, your phone number now, right? So, yeah, I know. It just tells you that a lot of people are interested in the conversation from all over the country. The calls are just so many. We can't continue to take the calls. I'm sorry. I can't continue with the call. But I mean, we got like 3 minutes to be on this show, especially on this segment of the show. But I think some people were asking about how can you decentralize. I know you're in Nimba, but you know, how can the program go into Sino? Some people calling from Granji there, from Banga, from all over the place. Just go ahead and let's get your reaction.
So let me say thanks to all those callers and those who wanted to call and did not call. You know, it's just very emotional when you see these things happening and people calling for help. And why are they calling this way? Because many people don't talk about epilepsy. They don't talk about spare. People see it like
as a taboo.
You don't need to talk about it. So, but it's good that our people are talking about it. I can respond to all the callers, but all that I can say is our team is there is still hope. All of you who have called, there is still hope. And from here, we're going to again reach out to the vice president. These calls that just came in, if you open this now for 1 hour, you will have more than 1,000 calls.
23 minutes calls.
Absolutely. Imagine. People will call from everywhere because people family this shameful condition, this neglected condition that was trying to become a taboo and killing people day and night, have crippled people, have destroyed people, is today making many families to just not love their own children that they give birth to. It's now that they're trying to understand it's something that needs real help. So our brother who said, yes, we don't have to ride, 3 on the motorbike, we better take that seriously. We are calling on everybody to help us with even motorbike. We don't have motorbikes. Just imagine we're doing these things on our own sense, turn with the passion that we have, with no funding from anywhere, but with campaigners coming together, giving that $10, that $5, and then we buy the medication. The medication is key. The medication is carbamazepine. 1,000 tablets is $100 US. And sometimes before you get it, Emmanuel,
1,000 tablets?
Yes. I mean, just think, because if we're doing these things and making sure that our people get the medication, there will be a lot of success stories. So to our people, we want to go all out there. We are prepared. First of all,
my man, the post says you read your mobile number. My man, Matthew.
Oh my God.
From Sign, Matthew, DJ.
So what I would do is this, because there are specific, it's my phone he's using, so it's a phone, so there are specific numbers, because I do not receive mobile money number. We have a whole structure. So I will read out my number. When you call, then I will give you, the team mobile money number. It's not just in my head of that. Okay. So the numbers to call, I would say slowly, is 0778 070604. So to get us at help minimize epilepsy in Liberia, you will need to call us on 0778 070604. When you call me, then I'll be able to give you all the mobile money number. But I want to say, let all of us do this together. You see, today, if we can all help somebody, there will be a lot of testimonies coming from every community. So it is about all. It's now wish. Let's begin today to start to take in those people that we see them passing, our clothes that we're not using, get them some new clothes, bathe them, cut their hair, get them. They will not just escape. But if a smart man left you, our brother from Sando called that there's a smart gentleman because of the situation now. He's looking like he's crazy. He's essay. It's because people isolating him. People not bring the mayor eat together. You will not get epilepsy. Break the silence. If we can eat with them, and like our brother called that, his brother was having is this situation. We got to go. To all those who have died because of epilepsy, we want to say may you also rest in peace, because most of them died because of ignorance. People did not know what to do.
The Bumper Show is on ELBC Radio 99.9. Edmund Gbarwee is the lead campaigner for the Help Minimize Epilepsy here in Liberia. He has been my guest on the first segment of the show, and in a moment we'll usher in Nima County District 3 Representative Honorable Neke Emmanuel. We'll have some very insightful conversation. He is the House's committee chair on Foreign Affairs and Relations. The Bumper Show will take a break and we'll come back with usher in our next guest. Please stay with us.